The number one question I've gotten from these ML videos, these whiteboard videos, has been, what the hell are you talking about? So I want to walk through some business problems and use cases, and we're going to skip the ML. This is just stuff where ML gets applied and why. So let's start with kind of a prototypical type customer for this, whether it's our solution or any other, would be an e-commerce store, direct-to-consumer, B2C. Pick your favorite thing, whether you want to buy shoes or birdseed or whatever it is. You're buying something online. The company's maybe 10 or 15 years old. They don't have a lot of legacy tech, although, again, we're not going to talk about the tech. But they've got lots of customers who purchase from them on some level of frequency, but it's fairly divergent, and they probably have a really divergent or broad set of basket sizes. Most people probably only purchase a little bit, some purchase a lot. So what are the things they care about? Well, first of all, they want to convert you. Obviously, they want more customers. They want to keep their existing customers from churning. They want people to engage with them, buy more, buy higher ticket items. And then they also want to know, and it's very important to know, what the long-term value of a given customer is, because that will inform all the budgets for all the things they're doing. And they're spending lots of money. A typical company like this is spending lots of money on ads relative to the size of their operation. So these kind of core business things that we could approach with any number of tools or thought processes typically devolve into slightly more tactical, like actual use cases, if I could use that phrase. So things like discovery and recommendation. So like, are we showing the right products and services to our customers, whether that's through a third-party ad platform, via an ad, or on our website? Are we using dynamic pricing to make sure that we're getting as much margin as possible and finding that right balance? If we have search on our site, we probably do. Are we showing the right results? How are we thinking about cart abandonment? Are there levers there we can pull? How does this all relate to inventory? I mean, these are all very much related problems. You could kind of say like, oh, this is all just a variation of like a convert, basically a churn, LTV, or recommendation. But these nevertheless are all opportunities. These are all business questions we want to optimize for. The question becomes like, how much is the juice worth the squeeze? And so where a lot of the ML vendors and consultants are coming in is we're saying like, hey, you can baseline your LTV, just take the sum of a customer's purchase history. That's probably a pretty good LTV. That'll give you a good idea. Whatever they purchase to date is probably, that's a good number to base your calculations off of, but it may not be. Like, i.e., there may be advantages applying statistical techniques and quantitative techniques. And what we're trying to do is drive down the cost and the headache associated with actually seeing if an ML solution or other quantitative solution to your LTV, engagement, churn modeling, etc., is actually worth it. And so all the stuff that we're coming up with is we're saying like, well, where are all the costs? Where's all the frustration associated with using ML, if you've chosen that as a hammer, to figure out LTV engagement, to do pricing optimization, to apply cart abandonment techniques and things like that. And where we've found that to be is it's more on the software side than on the ML modeling side. It's actually typically you're going to run into the costs and the frustration come from like, I built this cool model, but I can't deploy and maintain it, versus I don't know how to build a good model. That doesn't mean building models is easy. We'll happily, I'm not going to die on that hill by any stretch. But it means those are the problems we see that are driving up costs, driving up frustration. So to bring all of this back, like you start an e-commerce, D2C, B2C business, you're going to be concerned about some of these things. You'll come up with baseline metrics. You'll come up with spreadsheets to do some of this analysis. And you may figure out from looking at those numbers like, oh my gosh, I bet we could optimize this. And if we optimize it, it would have a meaningful business impact. Once you know that, then you can put us all through our paces and say, hey, let's see if your solution helps us. If you haven't done that baseline, of course, then it won't be interesting. Who knows if it will be interesting? I'm starting to run on a little bit here, but again, I just want to bring this back. So what am I talking about? Well, there are business problems out there where you can use quantitative and computational techniques to start to optimize them. Whether or not it's worth it is something you can figure out, or probably should figure out, before you start going down this path. But nevertheless, our responsibility, our promise is we're here to try to drive down those marginal costs and really that marginal level of frustration so that we can give you answers like, hey, look, we've got the best ML solution for your dynamic pricing model, and it hasn't moved the needle one bit. You should abandon this and stick with your existing heuristic or business rule. Stuff like that. That's still success for you, so even if you're not going to buy from us.